Let the bullish recovery for XRP in the broader digital asset space commence. Now, we might still see one more event or sacrifice right around this eclipse that we have coming up on the 13th and 14th. And it is my opinion that we are applying pressure, Trump with the trade war, applying pressure to the stock market leading up into this next Fed meeting and decision day next week. And so between the eclipse, the Fed meeting, I think that we are going to see a shift in energy. And I'm going to point out the bullish signal that I'm looking for the Fed to send is the reduction in quantitative tightening. What this means is that they might not go back to full-blown QE, but the amount of quantitative tightening that they're doing is going to come down. That's all that the market needs to full send. And obviously the fundamentals for cryptocurrencies and XRP in particular remain as bullish as ever. So when everybody was freaking out yesterday and over this past week, we held the line, we held strong, and we got ready to buy the dip. And I want to give a shout out to everybody in this community. I had folks tell me, hey, had my order on Caleb and Brown at $2.08, had my order filled at $2. You guys taking advantage of these dips to acquire more of these cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to show you in this update the levels on my charts that I'd shared with my Discord group on Sunday, and we got dang close. In fact, we hit many of the targets, but we got pretty close on most of them. And so the doofus moron TA for the win coming through for us once again. And I did actually just pick up a little bit more of the Bitcoin maxi tiers, full disclosure. Let's take a look at it, folks. Full update. Here we go. Trump, based on Ontario, Canada, placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the United States, I've instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% total on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada. Now, Ontario Premier responds saying that they may very well just shut off the electricity completely to the United States. And it really is going to like 3 states up north, Minnesota, and I think a couple others up there. But this is pretty drastic measure and really escalating here today. But Trump says they will pay a financial price for this so big that it will be read about in history books for many years to come. Canada also responding by filing to sell US dollar bonds. So once again, this debt, currency, and liquidity crisis for the United States of America. What is exacerbating the currency crisis? It is basically countries around the world dropping the US dollar for trade, but it's also been countries dropping the US dollar bonds. So this is what brings us to this trade war, tariff war that's now gone hot. Trump says very openly that he doesn't care about sacrificing the stock market, essentially. You know, there's going to be some pain here to be felt, but he inherited an expensive and overvalued stock market to begin with. And we just had gas prices drop for 3 consecutive weeks, now bringing gas prices to the lowest price in 4 years. And I'm telling you right now that Main Street America does not care about the stock market coming down a little bit if it means that gas prices are going to be coming down, if it means that inflation is going to be coming back down. The asset prices coming down a little bit is not going to be a problem for Main Street America that just wants to be able to afford groceries, filling up the tank, and to be able to provide for their family. And America wants us to get a fair deal. While we're getting taxed 100%, 200%, 300% in tariffs, it has to stop. So Trump's applying pressure here. I don't think that he cares about the stock market coming down a little bit to get us that fair deal. This is going to continue. And like I said, this week we might see one more event, one more sacrifice, one more situation that unfolds to bring this market down. But in my opinion, the correction is over. A couple data points and then we'll get into the markets. And, you know, to save the US dollar, what are we going to do? It's going to be stable coins backed by dollars and treasuries. Very simple. And the Genius Act starting to move forward here in Congress. Now, Jeremy Hogan giving us the bullet points. As many people in the comments have already mentioned, the passage of this act would be the death of USDT in the United States of America. This bill is thick and meaty. It addresses a lot of things, including the interaction of U.S. federal laws on stablecoins with foreign laws, state laws, etc. The reserve requirements, AML requirements. Yep, bigger picture, the legislation is explicitly making plans for stablecoins to interact with the traditional banking system. The merge is being planned. Now, he asks a question. The Genius Act requires that the issuer of any stablecoin have the technological capability to comply with the terms of any lawful order. Later, the Act defines the required technological capabilities as the issuer's ability to, quote, freeze, burn, prevent the transfer of payment stablecoins. Freeze, burn, or prevent the transfer of payment stablecoins. So can Ripple or Circle actually freeze RLUSD or USDC once it's transferred? I didn't think that was possible for either. Well, it is. In fact, Vet actually responded to him down here. Huge shout out to Vet. But yes, this is true. RLUSD can be froze and it can be clawed back. This is a feature that we enabled now on the XRP ledger where issuers of tokens can enable clawback. This is very controversial, but the reason why we did it is because you have to be in compliance, and we knew that this is where the laws were going. So Ripple did the right thing by enabling clawbacks on RLUSD, but we got to be very, very clear about something. You can never freeze or claw back XRP. Never can be done. Full stop. There's nothing you can do to freeze or stop XRP or claw it back. Okay, it's completely open source, permissionless, and you're free to move it however you see fit. Issued assets with clawback enabled, that's where you can do this, and that's where you need it to be in compliance. And as he's pointing out, Tether's not ready. Tether doesn't even look like they really are even trying in some jurisdictions like European Union. And so RLUSD, Ripple's secret weapon, and potentially here going to be a secret weapon of the United States of America to save that US dollar that, you know, Canada is now dropping bonds. China's been dropping our bonds at the fastest pace since the great financial crisis. We need a solution. I think it's ridiculous that here today, as I record this update, the House Oversight Committee is having another hearing to talk about stablecoins in the new system. This already should have been done. It's a matter of national security, as I've been saying here. We already should have had stablecoin legislation passed. We need broader market structure bill passed, and we need to do some strategic deals here with Ripple, our treasury, and maybe a few other assets need to be included. I also put out the tweet earlier today saying that I am 100% against using any taxpayer funds to buy more Bitcoin. Hold the Bitcoin that we have, seize more Bitcoin from criminals. Somebody mentioned in my comments saying we could use some of our excess energy to mine some Bitcoin. Okay, sure. If we have no other use case at all and the energy is just going to be burned off, sure, maybe a little bit more Bitcoin. That's fine. Other than that, I'm 100% against this. And this is Senator Cynthia Lummis who has introduced the bill once again, some Bitcoin Act for us to be buying Bitcoin every year. 100% against that, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Now, let's get into the market here. Everybody was super bearish, and I have been saying this is when you want to go the opposite way. The masses were being herded in to a mass hysteria, mass fear moment, thinking that everything's going to calm down and it's the end of the world. And like I said, we might not be out of the clear just yet, but it looks like we have bottomed out, and I'm leaning towards the correction being completed, and now it's time for XRP and the other digital assets to move higher. We have a perfect back test on Bitcoin that just played out. Trump is breaking the stock market down into the next Fed meeting, which is next week, not expecting a rate cut, but a reduction in QT is the bullish signal I am looking for. Market is ready to run again. Here's the Bitcoin chart, and you can see we perfectly went down to this level that I put on my chart. 76,385 is where I put this line. We hit right above that, right down to 76,000. And like I said, we might not be out of the clear yet, but I am erring on the side that this correction is over. Okay, perfectly played. Moving on over to Heisenberg, the QQQ chart for bull's eyes only. Today marked the fourth largest volume day since October of 2023. What happened to the top three largest volume days? All three marked the bottom. Extrapolate how you see fit. Let's take a look at the chart. Here you go. Top three largest volume days, boom, 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 all marking the bottom before we moved higher. Same thing just took place. Very interesting. Same setup as the cryptocurrency market in 2020. Perfect back test before the bull run continued. Take a look at it. 2020 versus 2025, same exact setup. Did you let them shake you out? Did you listen to the pro traders who said it had to go back to $1.50? Same group of fellas that said that it had to go back to 80 cents? Same group that said we were going back to 50 cents? How'd that program work out? For all the people that were telling me I'm selling off now, I'm going to buy in lower. How'd it work out? Were you able to pick it up lower? I sure hope you were, and I mean that sincerely. I am teasing you a little bit, but I really mean this sincerely. But this is where the traders and the people thinking that they're going to be slick and the people that are falling into the mass hysteria and the mass fear get wrecked and get left behind. I'm just saying it how it is. Perfect triple tap back test. Now we go higher. Hope you weren't selling to buy in at $1.50 like some of the pro traders were talking about. There's a lot of trader gurus out here. And that's why I emphasize myself as providing doofus moron TA. I always like to provide that disclaimer to let you guys know that I don't claim to be a TA guru. I look at TA in a very simple way. I look at dates and events. I look at market psychology. I look at a couple different indicators, but not much. And then we just look at historical patterns. And so for Bitcoin, it perfectly went down to my level right here. Perfect touch. Love to see it. And these were all charts that I shared with my Discord group on Sunday. And I said, guys, watch these levels in this triple tap, just like we did back in December. Same setup here, February 3rd, February 28th. Now we did it here, March 11th, and it's time to roll. And I said on all these levels, you're going to want to ladder into your position. You know, I put this level right down here at 20 cents for XLM, but I said, you know, this is where you want to start laddering in at 22 cents, 21 cents, 20 cents. And we missed a couple of my targets. We didn't go quite as low as I thought we would, but this is why I said you ladder in on Flare. I said we're going down to this level right here, 0.013. What did we hit? 0.0137. Pretty dang close, right? So if you did ladder in, you were able to execute these trades. XDC, where did I see us going down to? Maybe 6.2. What did we hit? 6.4. That's pretty dang close, if you ask me. Algorand, I had a level here at 16 cents. Where'd we go to? 17.3. Pretty dang close. And so the idea here is you ladder into your positions and you ladder out. That way you never have to try to time it perfectly. You don't have to predict the level to the exact T. You just get close. You set your orders. I think, Stronghold here hit my level perfectly, right? I had a level right here at 0.0083. Another level right here down at 0.0075. I said, look for it to hit that level right in there. And sure enough, perfectly right to it. And now it's time to move higher. Where's my other ones? Let's take a look here at HBAR. Got pretty dang close on this one too, down to 18 cents. My level right here was at 17 cents. I said it would probably hold that support. Sure enough. Let's take a look at two more. Telcoin. This one has some nice momentum behind it, or really did, right? We went all the way down to 0.004. I had a level down here at 0.0042. Getting close. 0.0048 is where we went down to. We were just slightly off from that level. Once again, you place a couple orders on the way down to this level. That's where you can make your entry. How about DAG? Pretty much right to that level right there at about 3.5 cents. 3.4, what'd we hit? 3.5. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. This is how you make entries and acquire more of these positions before we take off into this bull run versus listening to the pro traders out here who said that we have to go back to $1.50. Bitcoin's going below 70,000. I mean, people were calling for the end of the world. Now, let's be very clear, though. We might not be in the clear. We have an eclipse coming up on Thursday, Friday, the 13th and the 14th. Next week is the Fed meeting. What could happen between now and then? We absolutely could get smacked up. But as I've been pointing out, there's not a lot of leverage. So there's not much of an incentive for the market makers to push us down to these levels. They're not going to wreck anybody. They're just not going to wreck that many people that are going long. See, back at the beginning of February, everybody was going long and betting the entire farm. So on February 3rd, the market makers nuked our charts, and that resulted in the largest liquidation event in the history of cryptocurrency. They can't do that right now. There's not enough leverage there. And there's too many spot buyers coming in for XRP. That's why we went back down here and we set another higher low on XRP. You look at some of these other charts, they have nice momentum. I'm looking for Bitcoin now, making its reversal. We want Bitcoin to stabilize. This sets us up for an XRP alt season with an SEC versus Ripple case about to end, with ETFs about to go live. And remember, why did I predict that we would see an all-time high for XRP basically by the end of April? Because April 16th is the day that Ripple requested to file their response in the appeal. My opinion is that this case is over. We're just waiting for the announcement and the settlement to be done. And I believe that that will happen between now and then. I don't believe that Ripple will actually be filing their appeal. They requested that date to buy themselves time. The deal is done. Just like Stu said, the case is nothing but noise. Do not wait around for the headline. Do not wait around with the masses, because the masses want to move in a group, in a herd. Are you still in? I'll stay in if you're still in. Or you're getting scared? Okay, I'll get out too. This is where the masses get left behind. This is where retail traders get wrecked. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of pro traders, a lot of gurus, a lot of playing around out here. Doofus more on TA for the win. Lock in, folks. I think that the bottom is in and it's time to send. We go into an alt season that lasts about 2 to 6 weeks. I'm preparing to take profit on all of my positions. Strap in. If you appreciate what we're doing, you know how to help me out. Wifey just got done with some laundry. I really want to give her a shout out too. All the XRP family merch. I got to go put this away. I got to get another dresser. I got so much XRP family merch up in here. And we got some new hats in too, by the way. That's all going to be coming and getting updated on the website here shortly. ZachRector.com. I'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.